If you've been considering doing the Great Loop on a boat, here is one you should seriously consider doing it on. Let me explain why. Air draft, not a problem for doing the whole loop. Outboards, really great for service and maintenance, good at many cruising speeds, and great for shallow anchorages like this one today. Accommodation, we could sleep 6 people, but there's lots of variation going on downstairs. The head's separate shower is awesome. And I think the size is something that's worth talking about. At a little over 42 feet LOA, typical Group Beneteau product, they've just done such a good use with the available space. It's full of surprises, and I'm going to show you in this video. Ladies and gents, Beneteau Antares 12 Fly. This is the walkthrough. We're going to be doing the test drive in the next video, and we're going to try and demonstrate as much as we possibly can what you need to go through on a typical day of doing the Great Loop. So that's our goal for the next video. For this video, our goal is to show you absolutely everything that you need to know, so hopefully it'll save you a bit of time before you get to the dealer or the boat show. So let's start out here at the back of the boat. Engine options. This one has been fitted up with the triple 300s, so they are the V8. You can fit it with twins, so we can do the twin 400s or the twin 425s, and as you may notice, I just walked across the transom. So it is a walk across transom like so, and we've got these big swim platforms. And come out here and pay attention to how far they go, because this is relevant in when you are boarding and going places. If you're backing up into a dock, you can still step off the back of the boat, but we've got lots of options for boarding on this one, which I'm a fan of. This is another one of the clear options, and then we can walk across this way if we only had access to the port side of the boat. But on the starboard side, we've got even more options, which we'll get to in a second. Fuel into one of the fuel tanks. This is the Glendenning Shore Power retractor, and you operate it with the button just in here. You do need to remember to fold this up when you're trimming the motors up. I have seen mechanics set limiters on their motors in the past, so talk to yours to see if that's possible so you don't forget to do it. This is a great little storage space in here. That's going to be good for all your fins and your water stuff. You can keep it wet because we do have a telescopic swim ladder underneath this handle here, but it's handy to have this grab hold because then you can pull yourself up a little bit easier. We have the other fuel tank in on starboard aft, and I'd be securing the boat using this cleat just here as well. And then we've got hot and cold shower right where it needs to be, because you're going to be getting out of the water on the starboard side. That is diesel in because we have a genset. We have a Fisher Panda genset. We're actually running the genset right now, and we have the gyro stabilizer activated. So we've got a Seakeeper. We do have some wind blowing through. We have a bit of tide in this location, and you will see it chopping up from time to time with boat wash. So just pay attention to see how stable the boat is, because it works really well. Kid and doggy door, sensible. You always need that. Couple of drink holders here. We have storage underneath this huge seat, and it's really, really well done. So L shape, comfortable, grab holds all around. And then obviously this is going to be a primary dining space, but we've got more options, which we'll see in a second. And if you wanted more space because you needed to have a dance party or whatever you were doing on your loop evenings, you can actually retract, obviously fold that away to have more space. But this stairway here, if you undo this just here, the whole thing actually slides up and out of the way. So you then gain about another foot worth of space to make this more usable. But as you may or may not have already noticed, we've got a drop down wing on starboard. So this is electrically operated. You've got a button just here, which just raises or lowers it. And then you have a lock and these spectral lines to take the weight. Actually, what I'm going to do, I will raise it whilst we're chatting, because if you're boarding, say, some older people, or if you're at the dock for a little while, I'd suggest that you pull up on starboard, because as you may or may not have noticed now, we've got a boarding gate. So that's super handy. We were using that this morning. So if you're boarding others, let's do it. There you go. Now life becomes a lot more easy at the dock, and even getting on other boats. If you've had a raft up situation, it can be useful as well. So there's lots more going on. We can actually get underneath the floor here. We're going to do this later in the video, because that's into the genset, technical space, huge amount of storage because it's an outboard, we're not inboard, so we can store a lot of items down there, and the gyro. I just want you to pay attention, come over here and hang your camera out and look forward. So it's an offset design, so I'll just quickly stand up there. It is possible, if you're careful, to shuffle your way up the port side. It's essentially for hanging fenders. We've got water in here, it is drained, and we're on the grippy fiberglass. But the easiest way, because it's an offset cabin, to go forward is this way. So that's what we're going to do before we get there. I think this was, boom, the gas locker. Super deep, and that'll let any air out, or gas I should say, and it's also drained around. Intakes for ventilation. Really, really good Helm door. This is awesome. Essential, in my opinion, for short-handed operation, because yeah, this just makes life easy. Midships cleats. You're looking really comfortable there.
I am.
Slightly jealous. But as you can see, we don't even need to model the lounge, because it's been done for you. But this is super cute, because we've got this forward-facing seat just here. This will actually fold down and turn into a larger lounge, and then we can remove this table if we want to utilize this space. We can operate the anchor from the bow, but you don't need to, because we've got to switch at the helm. We've already done it today, and we'll show that in the next video. But the control can be either left in the bow, or you can stow it away, and it goes in this location. You put the handle for the clutch if you need to tighten the clutch on the windlass, just watch your toes. And then you've actually got space to put more fenders in the anchor locker. So if I was, say, in Europe and I needed more fenders on my boat for Mediterranean style mooring, I'd chuck a couple up here, and I'd just get I would just install some sort of handle so I can put the fender line around it, so I don't have to reach deep into the anchor locker, because it is quite deep, and it's just easier for me to grab hold of it. Navigation lights, cleats for the bow. This is the receiver for the sunshade, which can bathe this area in shade if we need, because we also have some, I'll just show you on this side. You can put the poles in here. So one here, another one there, drink holders, two more, and then the sunshade will clip from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be low, so you want to be sort of lounging as opposed to standing. The standing we do aft or upstairs. We've got washers on the windscreen wipers, spotlight just here. It's actually wise to turn around so it doesn't get too salty. Horn, we'll get up into the Flybridge in a second, and it's worth pointing out that you have 2 air drafts on this boat. So if you option it with the radar mast, it's going to be a little bit higher as opposed to the standard height. And if you are doing the Great Loop, you just have to factor that in, because then you might need to unbolt the radar mast for one section of the Great Loop. Otherwise, you've got enough to get under all the bridges, so you don't need to worry. So let's come back aft. Plenty safe, grab holds, wide enough. I like this. And we have got boats going around giving us some wash, so just pay attention, because you'll see whether it moves around or not. This grate, we've actually utilized it already to throw all of our shoes in here. So it's a great place for guests' shoes when they arrive for the day. However, it's designed to take the water. So if you took a wave over the back of the boat, it's designed to fall into the grate, and then drain overboard, as opposed to coming into the cabin. But first thing I need to do, I want to put my sunnies down and show you this door system. This is great. So we can slide these doors. We can use them in the traditional manner, like this. So if you just want to get in and out with the air conditioning going and use the boat like so, you can. But when you're in lounging mode and you want to hang out, you really want to do this and open the whole thing up, and they will lock open. Completely changes the boat. Put this footrest up like so, and then see how this all works? Like, because we're utilizing so much of the boat's beam and we haven't wasted space with another walkway on the port side, this area is massive, and once that is deployed like so, you can probably get 8 people comfortably in this space. It's really, really nice. We got a good amount of overhang as well, so we have got protection from the sun, but we can go forward and upstairs if we want to enjoy the sun, because I know that's important to some of you. Downlights, speakers, aft camera, aft floodlights to bathe the engines. The engines will trim up fully and out of the water as well. So again, for long-term operation, that could be of interest to some of you. That's a manual bilge pump before we go in on starboard. And then when we come in, it's super nice, light, bright and airy, but come in, and actually before you come too far in, I want to show you this. This seat, it's in the aft position. All you have to do is boom, boom, and now we've got internal dining, but there's more. So at the moment, we've got it set up with the little table, and we can double this size. So if it's too cold, you can just move the party straight in here and everyone can enjoy views over the water. You can be using the air conditioning if you want, because they've got the AC vents dotted all around. However, this is just a simple sliding window. I like that, nothing too complicated for ventilation. And the big Helm door on the other side is great, but we can also basically manipulate this seat, but we need to put the table down, and the whole thing will actually face forward for when you're underway. So let me see if I can put this down enough, because these two buttons, this one that I'm operating now does the table. It will then transform this whole area into a day bed if you wish. And for driving, how good's that? So now when you're underway, it actually raises up and you can see basically at the same level as the skipper, so you can be part of the ride. You get 2 people here, no problems. We've got a good amount of basically storage for your glassware and your plates in here, and I'm going to put that back into position. Boom, boom, like so. We'll just put those there, because the galley is super neat. We have enough space for someone to be operating at this galley with others still passing behind. See how much space I have behind me? Even just that little notch there makes a difference. One thing I just noticed, tell me if this is correct, because I've just discovered this on the Kenyan. If you press this little knobby thing here, I think these are fiddles to hold your pot in place when the boat's rocking around. If I'm wrong, you can correct me in the comments, but I have not seen that before. Or is this a new thing to me? Was this always the case and I just didn't realize? Because that's a good idea and it's sensible, it's not complicating things. I like that. This is the pop-up television. We operate it with the button in the same corner as the table. And then we've got this perfectly fine size stainless sink, hot and cold water. We've got our Seakeeper operation, air conditioning, fusion just here, light switches. We've got good storage overhead, pantry storage essentially, ample headroom above, and we get more as we go forward. Underneath me is actually deep storage for when you're going away. So I would suggest if you have boxes and boxes of alcohol or heavier items, I would put them below the floor here, not a problem. And you can always start your day when you're firing up. We show this in the next video, just here, with all of your water pressure, batteries, genset control, inverter control, and ship to shore. All pretty no nonsense. And then galley, basically all on the soft close. That's an electric oven. You can put some serving plates down here. The bin is in here, and more storage on top. And I'd say that you put this thing for the sink probably slides in there. Seems like the logical place. The only thing I didn't notice was that air sucky thing above the hot plates, but you get air coming in through here and going straight out there. So it's probably not a drama, but just pay attention to that. Now, a couple more. Bottle storage, soft close, deeper storage for emergency items, safety kit, and then the lower helm. Super neat, super functional, everything you need, and it's a sit and drive. I'll take my sunnies off because I know some of you don't like it when I talk my sunnies on. It's a sit and drive situation. So whilst you can stand, because the roof height pops up in this part of the boat, so you go from the saloon, it pops up, and we tested it before with Nick. He's 6'2", and he had another 2 inches above his head when standing. So yes, it's possible, and maybe when you're doing some close quarters maneuvering, you might. Oh look, let's show everyone. So what are these sea cows called? What do you call them? Manatees. Yeah, you don't want to run over these things. They're massive. We've seen them. That's 2 days in a row now. That's awesome. Guys, you've got to come to Sarasota. This, in my opinion, is one of the nicest parts of Florida. I haven't seen it all yet, but this is a very, very nice area. The watercolor, the wildlife, we're seeing dolphins every other minute, and these sea cows, fantastic. It's well worth a visit. So, air conditioning, twin screens, we've got the compass, all of our necessary systems, including anchor operation. I like how we have that, and we don't have to dive into a touch screen to find them underway. Bow thruster on the port side. However, I did notice a little bit annoying having it on the port side when I was trying to put my head out the window and reverse it into the marina berth today. It would have been a little bit easier if it was somewhere on the starboard, but hey, I'm getting picky, aren't I? So it's not the end of the world. We have got the joystick operation there in the correct side, throttle, touchpad for the phone. That's the spotlight control. The wheel is adjustable. This is our anchor windlass operation. Gives us our depth. That's our mercury diagnostics, and then we can store a couple of coffees underway when we're driving, and we can still charge phones as well. So let's come back aft. We'll go outside, and then we'll go up the stairs and have a look at the Flybridge, because I think whilst you can get this boat in a coupe, which to be honest, there's not going to be a great deal extra windage on this one because it's an open fly, so it really makes no difference. But from a maneuverability perspective, it's really going to be stability and people. So if you want extra spaces for people, and that's important to you, you can hang out up here, Nick, so everyone can get a idea for the space. If you want extra space, you can see Nick's 6'2" and he's hanging out up here. I think that's when you need to head in this direction, because I can see an accommodation layout like this one appealing to so many of you who want to have the option, for example, to invite friends and family. So if you're bringing grandkids or kids onto the boat, it's nice to give them another zone to hang out, and everyone's got a place to be, as we are right now. You know, we've got the sun lounge, we've got the aft deck, we've got the Flybridge, and downstairs in the accommodation, the starboard aft cabin, it's so cool. I'm going to show it to you a little bit later, but it can be a little bit of a lounge, or it can be a sleeping cabin. So it's the perfect place for kids to go down and play games if they don't want to be up on deck and they just want to be away from everyone. So I like that. It's typical Beneteau. Whoever's designing these boats, they are delving deeply into how these boats are used in every way, and they're trying to put multiple uses into every space is what I notice. So if you can see over here, we've got a couple of drink holders just next to me. This is our joystick operation, throttles. I got my VHF, speakers up here. This is our engine diagnostics. Really just space for one screen on this one up at the Flybridge. Bow thruster just here. We've got our horn operation. Standing, you know, as I said in the test drive video, which is coming up next, would you stand and drive? Maybe. I felt more comfortable just to kick back and sit and drive. Great viz all around, particularly if you're going in shallow waters like we are today. It's quite an advantage because you can see more. This is a good location to store your instrument covers and various other bits and pieces. And then this area has also got some multifunctional aspects to it. So there's storage underneath all of these seats. And I would suggest probably lighter items up here because you don't want to have too much weight aloft because it'll encourage the boat to rock. So maybe life jackets work well up here. This table, similar to the one down on the bow, will actually remove and store below the aft deck and the lazarette if you need. So this can be removed and be an open space, or it can be a usable space like this, because we also have a barbie just here, and then we've got a fridge just here. So that's super neat. Although you're going to be in the wind when you're cooking, maybe that's a positive or a negative. Jump in the comments and let me know. I think essential for where I'm from, at least, having the bimini up here for the sun protection. I know not necessary in some countries. We've got the VHF, both of them mounted back aft. This is going to be TV aerial, radar. This is the radar mast with the all-round white light, and that's what I'm talking about if you are doing the Great Loop, because you can fold the bimini down, but this is a fixed radar mast. So if you option it with the radar, you're going to have, as opposed to your maximum air draft being about here, it's now going to be up to here. So just pay attention, check out in the specs. There's one spot, I was doing some research on AI. Geez, it's amazing what you can get these days with some of these AIs. I know I'm probably a little bit behind the 8 ball, but just typed it in and it straight away told me the 2 locations, what air draft you need, what diversion you need to take. It's amazing. Use it if you haven't already. It's at that stage where it's a useful tool. So let's go check out the accommodation, because for a couple, it's incredibly nice. For a family, it's totally functional. And for occasional guests, that's 6 of you, it's still going to work, in my opinion. So we'll head forward first, because this is where you're going to be spending most of your time. And just pay attention to the width of this bed. Oh, it's super big. So sitting up in bed's not going to be a problem. Come in and just have a look. This is your views out the window in the morning. It's a cracker. How nice is that? I've got the air conditioning and the gen set on right now. You can hear the water slapping against the hull because we have got waves in this area. And that's storage for t-shirts, socks and undies. We have got this sensible fiddle, so you can put things and they're not going to fall. Not that they will, because we have the gyro. We've got 110 or 240 just here, plus both USB-C outlets, and then lights operation, and these blinds, they'll go up and down, and they're the Venetian type ones, so you can operate them up and down. So on the port side, we've got the hanging locker, and on the starboard side, because we have air conditioning fitted on this boat, we actually have AC in this locker. So if you didn't option it, that would be a storage space. And if you have the AC, obviously it's the AC compressor. But come into the head, because this is the best head on the boat. We actually have a separate shower in this one, so heaps of space, good amount of head height. We have an AC outlet in here, and we've also got natural ventilation through 2 ports here and here. Just remember to close them before you go boating, because there isn't an alarm. So most boats don't have an alarm, but you just want to make sure you don't embarrass yourself. And then we've got nice little bit of storage in the vanity. And I was questioning whether I was going to hit my head on this when you open this up to sit on the loo, but you don't. It's fine. So it's not a problem. And more storage underneath with your loo roll holder just there. And I guess now that we've got more space, if you needed to fold up towels or washing, this might be a sensible place to do it. So I think that's what's going on. And obviously you can close this door, and that's how much space you have in here for getting yourself ready for the day. The other thing I do like, full-size stand-up mirror. That's kind of handy. Not all boats have that. And if you're getting off the boat every night to visit another new town that you're visiting, it's kind of nice to know what you look like. So, another sensible use of the available space. Same thing again, but this time we've actually got an incorporated head and shower. So we still have we can close it, boom. This is the shower screen just here that just comes across. It's like a hard perspex type of material. And so we can keep this is the wet area, this is the dry area, and then we've got storage above and below the vanity. However, if you just go to the cabin, we've got a door straight into this cabin. So this would probably be the primary guest cabin. It's currently set up with 2 singles, but you can convert this into a double. There is an infill that goes in here to turn this into one big bed. We have a nice window just here. Hopefully you can see that view. So it's going to work really, really well for adult couple or for kids because you've got a little bit of storage there. We still have air conditioning. We've got reading lights, everything we need, and then a sufficient amount, just don't hit your head there, a sufficient amount of hanging and storage just there for people visiting the boat. But it doesn't end because this is great. Could be used as a storage space, kiddies cabin or overnight cabin. So come down, and currently it's set up in like a lounge zone area. So I reckon this is, if you imagine kids, yes, this is a bit of a head block for adults, but if you sit on this side, it's totally fine. If you're lying down, it's actually a massive bed. You've got extra space down here. So picture this, if you are just using this socializing, I'd be getting everyone to come down and chuck their bags on this bed. So you can just take out the things that you're going to need for the day, scatter them around on deck where they're needed, and utilize this cabin in this mode. If you've got kids, then this becomes the kids' hangout zone for the day. It's their space. They can come down here and do what they wish. They have AC. We still have natural ventilation here. We've got storage tucked in there and there. However, this backrest is also an extension to turn this into a bed. So that becomes possible. It can be another overnight space. We even have an extra fridge down here. So your fridge or freezer, if you choose, can be down here, and a little bit more storage, hanging lock. You can actually see I've got my jacket just in there. So just very good use of the available space, typical Beneteau to be fair. And I put this in place for you guys to see. Oh, how awesome is this? So now, if you don't feel like sleeping downstairs, you can sleep up on deck and enjoy fresh airflow through from there and there. I think it's wonderful. Or watch your big TV, because we do have these blinds. We can pull them across. They're just material blinds, but they work. That's going to block out the sun, so watching TV won't be a drama. Let me put my sunnies down here, because I told you I'd show you inside this lazarette. You basically just hinge it up like so. It's got a little bit of weight, but then the gas struts take over, so it's not too much of a drama. And if you wanted to open it more, actually no, it won't open more, it's fixed there, so that's okay with the table in place and the seat just there. Now you can see the Jenny Fisher Panda insulated box on the centre line, is what I meant to say. Multiple fuel tanks on this one, on either side, and I think maybe on the centre line, don't hold me to that. This swim ladder is your big luxury swim ladder, which fits into place when the wing is down. So that's going to be the super bougie one, which is much easier for grandma to get up and down, as opposed to the telescopic swim ladder, which still has that handle and it's okay, but this is way better, basically. Now, because we're not an inboard boat, this becomes a storage area. So as you can see, I've actually got really big fenders down here, and so ordinarily you probably can just park this boat with medium size, not large fenders like this, in which case they will stow just under here, no problems, and also forward in the anchor locker. So just work out how you're going to use the boat. We've got some other power distribution, raw water filters, oil filters, that sort of stuff down there. But it's just it's a handy space, and definitely fine for storing other items. For example, the forward sunshade and the poles and some of those bits and pieces are going to be just fine down there. I think I might come let you guys appreciate this wonderful view. Man, I like Sarasota. This is just a great place. There's restaurants to go to. You've got the intercoastal, head south, head north. You got the beach. You got wildlife everywhere. This is a super cool place. Everyone seems friendly. A couple of people have recognized me and said, "G'day." I feel like I've got my people here. So I'm a big fan, new fan of the west coast of Florida. Anyway, who's going to see the most value out of owning the Antares 12 Fly? In my opinion, it's definitely going to be those of you who have a box ticking adventure in mind, and at that stage or that part of your life that you want to tick off. If it's the Great Loop, if it's some other super cool thing, or if your kids are of an age where they still actually like you and want to hang out with you, and you figure, you know what, let's utilize the next 5 years before we're not cool, and let's do something together. That's when a boat like this is going to meet that mission profile quite well, in my opinion. I think if you value higher cruising speeds, you are going to get a lot of value out of this, and obviously you can go a lot faster. But if you want to be able to get up and boogie as opposed to just a displacement boat where you are restricted by speed, you can, but we can still cruise slowly and fuel efficiently, and we'll just show you that in the next video. So I think there's a number of reasons why for someone considering doing something like the Great Loop, you may see some benefits in owning an engine package like this one, and we'll touch on that in the next video. So yeah, jump in the comments. What do you reckon? Am I off the pace, or are we on the money with this one? Would you be applying the same mission to a boat like this, or would you do something differently? Let me know. If you have one of these boats and someone is in the comments asking questions, trying to answer whether this will suit their boat life, please feel free to jump in and answer, because I find it really helpful when some of you guys are doing that, because it's your experience that counts as well. It's not just these videos. I'm just trying to give you an insight so you can use the information and use it as you see fit. So how does it drive, and what should you compare it to? That's the next video. Click on the link coming up on the screen next. Don't forget to support the channel. You can also jump on my Patreon if you want early access and merch. Love you lots. Coming from America. See you in the next one, guys.